And on this episode of What's He Up To Today? Hey guys, David Daisler Shopworks here, and on this video we are going to install an air fuel meter on my 1978 Dodge D150. You would ask the question, why do you need to install one on your 1978 D150? This is a bone stock Holley 2145 2-barrel carburetor, bone stock cast iron 2-barrel intake, bone stock 360 LA. There's no performance add-ons. It's got cast iron manifolds, it's got a Y pipe and a full exhaust system. So what's the benefit? Well, the benefit for me is, how many of us actually know if these things ran good back in the 70s or not? So this thing is just about as close as I can make it to factory. The EGR is the only thing that's not hooked up on this truck. Everything else is hooked up, even the vapor canister, all of it. The whole shebang, all the vacuum, like I said, except for the EGR valve, this thing is hooked up as close to factory as possible. Even to the tune of the cold weather warm up from the heat stove off of the manifold into the air cleaner. All hooked up and all operates as it should. So there's my question. How well do these things run? We're gonna find out. We've got a generic no-name brand air fuel meter, and I'm only putting it in because it was given to me. I don't know if it's going to work even, but the parts look good. Everything looks the same as the AEM unit that I put in my Dart. So we're gonna find out and keep you guys posted. Right, here we go. So the hardest part of installing an air fuel meter is putting the O2 bung in the exhaust. I've got a beautiful spot right here. So we got my Y pipe, driver side, passenger side, Y's together, and here's a perfectly brand new piece of exhaust pipe that we're gonna weld this bung into. I'm probably gonna do it on the side like this, on an angle, and that way everything will line up really nicely. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get this done because I've noticed I just filled my truck at minus 28 degrees Celsius, and the fuel, now that the truck has been sitting in the shop, the fuel is actually expanding. I didn't think it was gonna be a deal, but it just leaked a bunch of fuel onto the hoist. So I've got it all cleaned up with floor dry, like Absorball, but I'm going to get this welded in quickly because it's going to expand some more, and I don't need more of a leak while I do this part. Alright, we are welded in, and there's a fair bit of booger weldery going on there, I'm not going to lie. But it is gasless flux core welding, and I'm not too worried about it. One thing I am going to do is, on the side here, I have noticed where the pipe is welded on, there has been a leak in cold weather, and I can actually see the exhaust escaping. Turn that up. Anyway, I can actually see the exhaust escaping from that joint. I am going to wrap it with a high temp wrap, and wrap the area around the O2 sensor, which is not a bad thing to do. It helps the O2 sensor retain its heat and allows the O2 heater to not have to work as hard, so to speak. So I'm going to wrap that, clamp it, then we'll screw in the O2 sensor, run the wiring up under the hood somewhere, and we're getting close. Okay, bring you up to speed. We have wrapped up the underneath, O2 sensor's in, and I got the wiring ran up into the engine bay on the passenger side, which is where the Y pipe section is anyway. Anyway, here's the wiring harness. If you look down below, the O2 sensor's down there, and the wiring harness goes into the fender area. I've got it running into where the antenna wire goes, the hole, and it runs under the dash like so. We now have also got the gauge mounted Now you ask me, why did I mount the gauge in front of my other gauges? It's simple and easy. The gauge is blocking off with my ammeter, which I personally disconnected and did not want to run when I wired up the butchered wiring harness in this truck. So it fits perfectly right there, right in my vision, nice and happy while I'm driving. That's my coolant gauge, that's my gas gauge, and that is my oil pressure. Nothing else is blocked off. This runs here. I also have a nice cavity underneath the dash here. This is supposed to be a flat piece of plastic that this mounts to onto this gauge bezel. That's long since been broken off years ago. All we have left to do, wire in a 5 amp fuse to an ignition switch source and a ground. Not bad, eh? Alright, we just went through a heat cycle. Now I have to find out if it's actually on AFR or if it's on lambda. And give it a couple seconds here. Let's go mode 3D1G, 3-digit, I believe that says. Hang on. Yeah, 3-digit mode, which is perfect for me. And then I want to see AFR. So 3-digit. Okay. It's on lambda. AFR. There we are. Select. Done. Perfect. Alright, let's fire it up. There we go. Okay, that's well, we can't be that rich. That's got to be on lambda, I guess. Anyway, I don't know. Select 3DGI, done. Alright, there we go. .5 lambda, okay. AFR. That can't be right. Oh, maybe it is. I can't be idling that lean. There's no way. Alright, I'm going to play around with the settings on the way home here, and we'll see what we come up with when I get back. Alright guys, I did not film on the way home because it is snowing like crazy outside, and the roads are fairly atrocious. So I mostly concentrated on the road. But sitting in my driveway right now, and that is where our air fuel is sitting. I give it a little rev. It's responding properly. I don't know what else to say except we're gonna go in the garage and wrap this up. Alright, it is a bear outside right now. So, air fuel meter works, as you can see. Now it was showing a little bit rich, or a little bit lean, sorry, at the end of it there. Engine's fully warmed up, just did a drive home, lots of heat built up, and we were showing like between 15.5 and 16.2, something like that. On my trip home at about 100 kilometers an hour, between 90 and 100, depending on where the road, what the road was doing, and the blowing snow causing whiteout conditions, I was having consistent 17.6 to 1 to 18.4 to 1. fairly consistent. A little tip in the throttle should go a little richer. A little tip out of the throttle should go a little leaner, you know. And it's working. But that's super lean, and the engine would be misfiring around 17 to 18 to 1, totally misfiring. So I was thinking as I'm driving, I'm like, well, I don't think it's calibration of the unit. I mean, heaven forbid, it is a generic aftermarket, no-name brand air fuel meter, but it tells me I got work to do to my truck. So as I had said, I wrapped the exhaust pipe around the O2 sensor because the initial joint on the pipe, there is some leaks in it. That will draw in air when you're driving down the road, and it will lean it out. And since it's in front of the oxygen sensor, that's important to note. Also, when I did my intake manifold gaskets, I found that my carburetor was physically loose. Like, I'd bolted the carburetor on with a new gasket, and away I went back when I rebuilt the carburetor. But I'd never gone back and rechecked anything, and the thick gasket units are notorious for the gasket kind of crushing into place a little bit. It's kind of like retightening your valve cover gaskets every once in a while, and your oil pan gaskets, that kind of stuff. The bolts don't necessarily back up, but the gasket crushes. So after doing my intake gaskets, I haven't gone back to look at that carburetor. There's a very good chance. Well, I did once. About 2 days later, I brought the truck in the shop and was tinkering on a couple things, and I cinched them again, but I haven't done it since, and that's been about 6 to 8 weeks. Plenty of time for that gasket to crush down some more and create a massive vacuum leak underneath the throttle blades. And that, with one more thing, I have an exhaust leak on the passenger side manifold. There's a little tick 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 when it's running, and it's from the exhaust manifold. I don't know if it's a broken bolt or if it's a gasket blown out or what, but regardless, this exercise has told me exactly what I needed, what I kind of knew already, but it's kind of a kick in the bum, you know. I have work to do to my truck, and I am going to do said work to my truck. So I'm going to fix the exhaust manifold leak, I'm going to re-weld the pipe better, and I am going to check the carburetor to make sure that it's not sitting there loose, because it obviously still runs, but it is definitely a little on the lean side. Like when I pull up to a light, I have to gently roll into the throttle real easy, or else it goes just falls on its face, which normally is a lean condition. And I've known about it the past couple of weeks. It's been minus 30 Celsius and colder, so there's not a lot of pop the hood out in the driveway and do some tinkering stuff going on here right now. Anyway, guys, I'm still calling success on this video, and I hope you guys will too. Like, subscribe, and share, yada yada. Let me know what you think. Should we go deeper into the old Dodge and fix up all those items, or should we just make sure it's good, i.e. tighten up carburetor bolts if they need to be, and run it, see what the air fuel meter does? I mean, I'd like accurate readings, but at the same time, it's going to be a heck of a pile of work to get that done. So either way, you let me know and I'll decide from there. I'm Dave from Dave's Glory Shopworks. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you on the next one.